What's going on, guys? Jay the Black here. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I want to talk about Bill Belichick because it was a recent rumor or report that was put out there that his 24-year-old girlfriend was banned from the UNC football facilities. I think I also saw where he may, or the university may have denied it. You know, Bill Belichick is a guy who is a well-known, well-respected football coach for many years, particularly in the NFL with the New England Patriots. We know of all the success that he had there. But I do think that the more time is going on, the more we've seen a guy who was a little bit more insecure than we may have thought. All right? This is a guy who wanted to be the highest paid football person in the New England Patriots organization. This is a guy that got so upset with Tom Brady because he felt like Tom Brady was to blame for why, the team ended up trading Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy was his quarterback of the future. Even though Jimmy G's career hasn't really panned out, he did have some success after he went to the 49ers. But see what has happened since with him, and I think that caused. I think the whole situation. You had Spygate, you had Ballgate, right? You had a clash of egos between him and Tom Brady. Tom Brady wanted his people around. Bill Belichick didn't want Tom Brady's people around. It was a clash of egos. And so much so that, Tom Brady ended up leaving. And Bill Belichick thought that he could win without Tom Brady, and that did not happen. So he ends up being fired. Let's be clear, he was fired. And he's been there was a short time where he wasn't a coach, but he wanted to be active. He wanted to be on television, right? He's visiting universities. He's a guy who's used to working. He's a worker. Now, Bill Belichick for a long time had a girlfriend who was a little bit closer to his age, right? He broke up with her and ended up randomly in this relationship with this 24-year-old female by the name of Jordan Hudson. Now, Bill Belichick seems very proud of her. He's showing her off as if she's a trophy. There's nothing new, right? Rich, successful men show off their trophy wives or girlfriend all the time. But it just seems to me that a guy who, and I saw this comment, someone said, Bill Belichick was known for being very smart, very calculating, right? Why would he get into a relationship with a 24-year-old who's using him? Now, I could be wrong. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw somewhere apparently he is helping build her real estate portfolio. I could be wrong. Y'all correct me in the comment section. And when people say, he's smart, he's calculating, he is those things, but he's also a very insecure man. He's very insecure to the point to where he's showing up at the NFL honors with all his Super Bowl rings. Y'all see it there? That's all of his Super Bowl rings with this trophy girlfriend. Now, I want y'all to understand something. She is 100% with Bill because of his money and who he is, not him as a person. Okay? You take away the fame, the coaching career, you take away the money, she'd have zero interest in him. But, these guys get played. I mean, these older men are such suckers for a pretty face and a tight body that they're willing to make a fool of themselves. They're willing to make a fool of themselves. Just because, and you see this with a lot of smart older men, right? A lot of these guys end up making very stupid decisions when it comes to the women that they date. Bill wants a trophy girlfriend because he wants to show that he's still capable of being a head coach of young men, that he can appeal to the Gen Zers, right? Because he couldn't get a job in the NFL because they're saying, he can't appeal to these young guys, right? His ideas are outdated. I think they don't want Bill there because Bill has a huge ego. And when something doesn't go Bill's way, he's going to self-sabotage. I truly believe that Bill self-sabotaged Tom Brady, the latter part of Tom Brady's time with the New England Patriots, due to his own ego. It was like they weren't getting along. And Bill wanted to be the highest paid football person. So he's walking around with this young female, showing her off. He accepts the job at the University of North Carolina, which is not going to be as easy as he thinks it is. Transfer portal or not. You see, the thing about college football, you have to have the energy and the focus. But Bill is more focused on promoting his girlfriend, having her do interviews with him as if she's his handler. That is a bad look. You're a leader of men. You're supposed to be anyway. But you're too busy trying to show off this young girl. Bill, I understand I won't say I understand, but you're a guy, you're older, right? Getting old for a lot of people is very tough, especially when you have been in a certain career and you feel like you were pushed out because of your age, because they feel like you can't relate. Look at Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was unemployed for how long? A season, and he's right back in the NFL. You know why, Bill? Because he ain't dating young chicks and flaunting them. There's a rumor that he has other women outside his marriage, but it doesn't matter. You don't see him out here trying to build up this Jordan female. Do you see these two people together in the next 3 years? Do y'all see these two together? Absolutely not. But the problem with a lot of men is that they are willing to invest in women who are only there for a short time. She's not looking to be with Bill for the next 5 years or so. Like, come on, man. No, she is not. Let's get into this article. When the University of North Carolina decided to hire Bill Belichick, the school made a choice. One, to prioritize football, make winning paramount, and push aside the antiquated Tar Heel way to make a splash. That came with considerable risk and unwanted exposure, but the team went for it now that the exposure is coming back to bite them. That was the boosters. I want y'all to understand something about North Carolina's boosters. North Carolina's boosters wanted to make a splash hire. I don't think that the AD wanted that. But the boosters wanted that. The boosters want to splash higher. And when you in this NIL era, they could cut the money off. And that's not good. They were looking to hire somebody that was younger. Well, the AD, I believe. I believe the AD was looking to hire somebody younger, fresh ideas. The boosters did not. They wanted to splash higher. Belichick, known for his emotionless, no-nonsense, robotic approach to football, has been anything but since arriving in Chapel Hill. Instead, his time in the state has been mired in rumors about his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, being too involved in the football operation of the school, culminating this week when Pablo Torre reported that Hudson had been banned from North Carolina's football facilities. Pablo Torre had been a regular on ESPN programming for a while, so I don't think he's making that up. That's probably something he legitimately was told. The school has since denied that Hudson is banned, but it's all a mess. Stepping back from the situation, we have a legendary coach and his much younger girlfriend, both of whom are stirring up enough drama that the team is being forced to issue statements about them which have nothing to do with football. Again, I don't think the athletic director wanted this. I don't. We need to take a deep dive into the whole mess, to understand what is going on with Belichick and Chapel Hill. Now, I'm not going to read through all of this, but I'm going to skim through. They get into, let's see. News emerged at the end of 2023 that Belichick ended his relationship with longtime girlfriend Linda Holiday. The couple had been together since 2007, shortly after Bill split from his wife of 29 years. It wasn't until June of 2024 it was revealed that Belichick was now dating Hudson, a 24-year-old former cheerleader and Miss Maine runner-up. Details of how they met begin with the rumors they met on a flight in 2021 when they bonded over philosophy paper she was writing for college, sure, and started dating in 2023. This turned heads with it potentially meaning that Belichick met Hudson as a 20-year-old when he was 69. Hudson often appeared alongside Bill in both personal and professional roles. At times, she was his date at two events, but on other occasions, she appeared almost like Bill's personal assistant, and this blending of personal and professional life gets murky. Whenever a woman that you're dating is trying to become like your assistant, that's a no-no. Keep the women that you're dating away from your business. Point blank, period. Don't let her near your money. Don't let her near your business. Rumors emerged in November of 2024 that Bill was a target for North Carolina, and at first it seemed to be the most preposterous rumor in football. Here was the greatest living coach in football history and a guy who was reportedly coveted by numerous NFL teams, and then UNC, a prestige university, but one far better known for his basketball prowess than anything on the field. You know, Mack Brown built North Carolina football. Mack Brown built up North Carolina football to the point to where it became a viable football school for recruits, you know. And, you know, they have that name recognition, and also Bill knows he's going to have more control there than he would anywhere else because they're not focused on football there. They're focused more so on basketball. Things heated up, and on December 11th, it was formally announced that Belichick would become the next coach at Chapel Hill, stunning the football world. Along with him was Hudson, who made the move alongside her boyfriend, of course. It wasn't long before reports emerged that Hudson was taking a far bigger role in football operations than people thought, or that the school expected. In February, Pablo Torre released a podcast that detailed how Hudson had been operating as Belichick's manager and agent. Once again, he's mixing personal with business. Soon it became clear that North Carolina hadn't just hired a football coach, but it was saddled with Hudson's involvement as well. The two were a package deal, and it was unclear if the school knew what they signed up for. They probably thought that, you know, she'd be around. You know, there's been instances where, you know, football coaches have their wives around, but not this involved. But this would happen when you're a 70-something-year-old simp. When you're a 70-something-year-old simp, you can't be that desperate to be with this girl that you're willing to have her that involved in. But see, that's the thing. You know, Bill is a very insecure man. There are people who think he cheated to win championships. He's deeply insecure. How do you have a beef with a starting quarterback that helped you win multiple Super Bowls, Bill? You sabotaged him. You barely drafted anything offensively to help him. You're more concerned about getting him out of there so you can be the highest paid guy there and prove that you can win a Super Bowl on your own. And you didn't. You failed. All right? And it drove you to prove, you know what? I can date hot girls. Let me tell you something, Bill. If Tom Brady wanted your chick, he could have her. She's up for grabs, man. She's still in these streets. Y'all be thinking these, like I say, these older men make fools of themselves. They make fools of themselves. Yes, date women your age. especially when you're in your 70s and the girl is in her early 20s. She's going to run your pockets. You think she wakes up every day saying she's with the man of her dreams or the man that she wants? No. You're a lick. You're getting your pockets ran. In March of 2025, a leaked email from Bill Belichick to UNC staffers asked that any messages about football operations sent to him also be CC'd to Jordan Hudson. This was a wholly bizarre request, as typically significant others and family members are kept completely separate from the football side of the business. But he's known for employing his sons. So Bill has employed his son, so he's not above that. I just think Bill is a really weird guy. I think he's socially awkward. And also, again, he's a deeply insecure man. Deeply insecure, to the point where he got to go run and get into a relationship with these are mistresses. These are the type of women who are your mistresses, not your main girl, that you're making her a part of football operations. This is going to end in a disaster. And I think UNC may end up firing him. I'm telling you right now, if UNC has a bad season, because Bill is not going to get as much rope as he think he is. If UNC has a bad season, he's getting fired. I'm telling you right now, especially if this drama continues, because the AD didn't want this guy. The boosters did. So let me know what y'all think in the comments section. Let me thoughts, like the video, and share. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'll see y'all next.